that's why you get that particular amount back. So if you overpay in taxes, you get a tax refund. And some people, for whatever reason, they don't go get their money on time. I only know of a handful of people personally that do it, but I found this trend for whatever reason they don't want to file and they don't file on time. File your taxes on time and get that money. Money in hand for you, the quicker you get it, the better it is for you. So you should be doing positive things with it. Take a portion of that money and save it for yourself. Take a portion of that money and pay off some additional bills, or whoever you owe or whoever you promise, I'm going to pay you when I get my taxes. Go ahead, file your taxes and get that money back, since I'm talking about taxes at this particular portion. So another thing that you want to do, you want to designate a specific a specific denomination, and save that particular dollar, whatever it is. If it's a $20 bill, a $50 bill, a $100 bill, or even if it's just a $5 bill, save it every time you receive one. Every single time you receive one, you want to save that. So wherever you get it from, and if it's change from the grocery store, or if you get it as a tip, if you're a waiter or you're a beautician or something of that nature, whatever denomination you designate, you should save that denomination for yourself and put it up somewhere. So here's the thing. Do not pick the most common denomination that you receive. However, and no matter how much I pay my barber, there's always a 20 in there. Every time. There's always going to be a $20 bill somewhere. And most people pay him with a $20 bill. So I wouldn't suggest that he use a $20 bill, because then he won't stick to it. Because he's not going to be able to save every $20 bill, because then he won't have enough to survive on if he uses that particular denomination. So he should do something else. So let's say for him, maybe a $50 bill is uncommon for him to receive. So every $50 bill that he gets, he should save it. He should save that $50 bill. I don't care if the cut was only $20 and he had to give back $30 and change in his pocket. If he's putting all his money in his right pocket, then in the left pocket should be the $50 bills that he receives for the day. And at the end of the day, he needs to save it somewhere. Don't commingle that money. Save it somewhere. So in this example, in my barber, if it was $50, if it was a $50 bill, then that's what he should be saving all the time. And that's in addition to doing other savings. So this can't be your only savings plan. This can't be the only thing that you do, and you're just waiting till all your $50, add up to the amount of money you want to save and have as your goal. You need to do that in addition to other things as well. So take all of those tips and combine them together so you can get your savings on, and that will absolutely help you in the future when something comes up for you. So why are we even talking about this, and why right now? Outside is closed, y'all. Like, outside is actually closed. That's why we're talking about it right now. There's a pandemic, and some people are not getting paid, and they're worried, and rightfully so, about losing their homes, their cars, and the credit gains that they have made. A savings could alleviate some of that worry and some of that stress. So if you find yourself caught behind the 8 ball right now, what should you do right now? Like, what should you do right now to be able to help yourself when it comes to some of these things right now? So that's what we're about to discuss right now on the show. A couple of things, and this whole show was designed around a question that I received on Facebook Messenger. So follow me on IG, again, 800 Credit Score Man, Facebook 800 Credit Score Man, and on Twitter at Credit Score _man. So that's the reason this whole show came up, because somebody sent me a question really and wanted to discuss what should she do at this point in time in this particular scenario that we're going through and facing as a country. So that's why we are where we are, and that's why we're bringing this show to you today. So this goes to show you that your participation is extremely helpful, extremely valuable to the 800 Credit Score Man show. So if you've got questions, if you've got show topics and whatnot, then please send them to me. Email them, 800@creditscoreman.com. Email me your questions. Email me your suggestions for show topics and things of that nature. And it might happen. So this was very timely. So what I had planned, I put off. We'll talk about that next week or the week after next. But we want to discuss things that are happening right now and try to help people in the best way possible that we can. So here's some things that you need to do and you can do right now. So here's how it actually even came up. So if you're in the habit of using your credit cards and paying them off in full every month, which is a good thing, right? First of all, let me say thank you to the young lady that sent that in. So thank you, Keisha, for your question. In light of what's going on right now, and last week's show surrounding FICO 10. If you didn't listen to that show, go back and listen to that show so you can see how FICO 10 and how this could be impacting you right now. You should halt that activity. So if you are, paying for everything on your credit cards and then you pay them off in full every month, you should stop that activity right now. You can still use your cards to pay your bills if you like, but pay more than the minimum of that balance at the end of the month right now. So if your minimum is $40, of course, you don't want to pay just $40. You want to pay more than that. But I wouldn't say for you to go ahead and pay the entire thing off at this particular point in time. So again, if you didn't hear last week's show, go back and listen to it so you can see how FICO 10 might impact you. And you'll see why if you look at that and why I don't want you to just pay the minimum on your credit cards. However, cash is still king. Cash is king. Credit is the queen, but cash is still king. So cash on hand during a pandemic could be very, very useful. So once we clear this world crisis, you can go back to business as usual and keep getting all those reward points and things of that nature when it comes to, using your credit card so much and then paying it off at the end of the month and getting all those things. You can go back to doing that after this pandemic is over. However, cash is definitely king, and you probably need some cash on hand just to be safe, just so you have it on hand, just in case anything does happen. You cannot pay your mortgage bill with a credit card. You cannot pay your credit card bill with a credit card. You cannot pay your car note with a credit card. So cash is king. Like I said, make sure that you protect yourself in this time. So another thing that you can do. The thing you should do right now is call your creditors. And this might be the most important thing that you should do right now. Call your creditors right now and ask them what are they doing to help people with their bills. So if you've got a specific scenario, then absolutely tell them what your specific scenario is. There's legislation and there's talk right now about stopping the student loan payments and the interest for the foreseeable future. So if you got it, though, if you've got money, this is a good time. If you've got it and they stop your interest right now, this is actually a really good time to go ahead and pay more on a bill, because now you're not paying the interest on it. So pay it anyway if you can, and that'll lower your balance faster on anything. If they halt the interest on anything, it'll lower your balance faster if you continue to pay, because you won't, be paying any interest. So call student loan, call your mortgage company, call whoever you did that debt consolidation with that we talked about earlier in the show. All those people, give them a call. The people that hold your car payment, give them a call. Ask them for the best option. If you need to skip a payment, whatever it is. So whatever they tell you, ask this question and see what answer they give you. They may or may not know, but see what answer they give you. How is this going to impact my credit? You want to know that up front. You want to make sure that it does not hurt your credit. The whole point of you calling them is to make sure that you fulfill your obligation, right? And to protect your credit. So ask them, how is whatever action you take going to impact your credit? Make sure you do that. Listen very carefully to their answer. So you want to do that. You want to call all those people and you want to talk to them. So this will protect your credit, right? So here's another thing that I want you to do, or what you should be hearing anyway. These are some of the things that I'm hearing that places are offering. And I'll tell you right now. So like I said, follow me on Twitter at creditscore_man on Twitter. Earlier this week, I made a tweet and I tagged a bunch of banks: PNC, U.S. Bank, Bank of America, Chase, Citibank. I tagged Regions Bank. I tagged a bunch of banks on this particular thread that I had created. And so on the thread, I asked them what were they doing to help their customers in these trying times. And I made a couple of suggestions. So I don't remember them all, but one of my suggestions was to skip a payment, have their customers skip a payment, a true skipped payment, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Skip a payment to stop the interest, like they're proposing in Congress right now with student loans. Stop the interest that's being accumulated on there, and a couple other things. And PNC, to their credit, I'm going to give them a shout out. PNC actually responded. So you can go on at creditscore_man and you can see what they said. PNC was the first to respond. U.S. Bank, they responded. The rest of the ones I named, I hadn't heard from. And I actually didn't check Twitter before I got on the air. So if somebody else responded, great. But I'm going to tell you right now, PNC and U.S. Bank, both of those banks actually responded to my tweet. And I appreciate it, and I'm sure their customers do too. So here's what you can do as well, since we're talking about all that. So you're going to make sure you give all your creditors a call, and you're going to ask them, right? You're going to ask them, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? Because I might need to skip a payment or what have you. Ask them what the best options are for those things. So skipping a payment. Not all skip a payment options are created equal. All right. The most commonly isn't truly skipping a payment. All they do is they add it to the end of your loan, and you incur a little bit more interest that way. But it's helpful to you if you're in need. So if you call or they call you and they offer you to skip a payment, and let's say it's a vehicle and you had it on 60 months and you've paid, 30 months of those 60 already. What they'll do is they'll just add it to the end of your loan. So technically it'll be 61 payments, even though you only pay 60. But adding that and carrying that portion of the debt to the end of your loan also comes with more interest. So, but it's actually a good thing if you just can't make that payment right now. It's a really good thing for you to do if that's the only option that you have. A few places will allow you to skip a payment, but they take your payment and evenly divide it across 12 or 24 months. So for an example, just to make this simple, if you got a $2,400 a month payment, most likely that's a mortgage type payment, right? So if you've got a $2,400 a month payment, they'll spread that over 24 months. So $2,400, they'll spread it over 24 months, which is 2 years. That's $100 a month, right? We're just making this math simple. So for the next 24 months, after you get to skip your payment, your new payment will be $2,500 a month. It's your original payment of $2,400 plus that $100 that they're spreading across the next 24 months. So then your next new payment will be $2,500 a month. You'll do that for 24 months. That's one way that they're combating this and trying to help their customers out at this time. So that's a good option. I've only heard of mortgage companies presenting this option. So you may not be able to do that with your vehicle or a personal loan or what have you, but it's worth asking. Suspend payments altogether, like Congress is pushing, and without having any interest added. So with student loans, you've heard of a deferment probably before if you got a student loan. That's like a deferment type thing. So they're gonna suspend you making payments for whatever amount of time, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, and revisit it later. So maybe that's an option for you in some of these cases. cases. I seriously, highly doubt a mortgage company will do that for you, or your car note, they'll do that for you. But it's an option, and it's definitely a good option when it comes to student loans. If you've got an issue, you're not working anymore, or whatever, call student loans. Please, please give them a call and see what they have.